Hello again, EDF friends, and welcome back to our firing range, where we attempt to show all the weapons in EDF 5, at least all the weapon types. This time we're going to be on missile launchers and grenades. And as far as missile launchers go, there has been some pretty good improvements to missile launchers, believe it or not. In the previous game, if you ever took a Prominence MA to the battle, you would probably be laughed off by your fellow EDF soldiers, because the lock-on time was something like 23 seconds, and the reload time was something like 20 seconds or something, so it was like 40 seconds to actually get the missile into the air and reload and then do it again. However, this time, as you can see, if you can read Japanese at least, it's been reduced to 3 seconds and 3.3 seconds. So it's actually useful now. My particular Prominence is not fully leveled up, however, but maxed out looks like it's about 22,678 damage. So good damage, and you can get this thing in the air within 6 seconds and do it again. Has a decent blast radius, as you can see. It's 30, I think 34 meters is the max. And you can even use items to increase that time to where it makes it even faster. So very good now. I'm very happy about that, because I've always loved the idea of the Prominence, because it's one missile that shoots way up into the air and then comes straight down, which is nice because of buildings and so forth. You can actually get around enemies. So always cool. So I'm very happy that they made that change. The MEX Emerald has returned as well. This time it is actually better damage, so I think it's actually viable this time compared to the previous. When it's maxed out, you actually get 8 rockets, so a big improvement from the previous one, which was 5, I believe, which is kind of funny that the name is MEX5, but it's actually got 8 max, and the damage is 906 maxed out, and reload time very fast. So, and it's got a good distance too. Maxed out, it's 658 meters, so very good this time around. Missiles are actually great, and I'm very happy about that, because, like I said previously, they were not the greatest by any means, and they weren't very usable. So let's go ahead and take these out really quickly. And I will cover the items when I do the special grenades, since there's only one more column after these two. I'll just cover the specials and then the items as well of each class, so that'll work out. But I'm so happy. I love this thing. But before, like I said, never a reason to take it. They may not never. There was a purpose in some missions where if you wanted to beacon something, you can stand in the back and shoot the missile launcher from way back there. But yeah, still has a zoom. But as you can see, it's already in the air. Amazing. Very happy about this thing. So I've used this many times on missions, especially with cosmonauts or with anchors. You can use this thing valuable. And like I said, 22,000 damage is not bad. Fully maxed out, and you can increase, look at that thing, it's awesome, it comes down fast, very cool. And then the MEX Emerald, which unfortunately mine's only at 6, but when it's 8, it's actually pretty useful. I mean, it's still useful right now that I have, but it's a lot more useful having 8 missiles. And they did improve the missile launcher so that when you walk forward now, you don't get hit quite as easily. Before, I don't know what they were thinking, but you actually get hit when you're walking forward with the missile launcher. I mean, it still kind of drops a little bit, the missile, but not nearly as much as it was before. So yeah, very cool. So those two have made it back, and they are better this time around. Let's see what else there is. Alright, next column, the MLRA. MLRA has made it back as well, and also, like I said, it's pretty good. This one maxed out, let's see what it does. 42. The maxed out is 42 lock-ons, so let's see, yeah, 42 is the max, 203 damage times 2. So very good damage this time around, the MLRA, and the fork as well. I use the fork quite a bit, actually. It's really good for, like, I really like it on cosmonauts and colonists, because it does seem to stun them. Maxed out, it does 260 times 30, and yeah, okay, 260 times 30, and it has a 460 meter range, so pretty good. And like I said, with the items, you actually can affect the missiles now. So you can have all these missiles go onto one target if you want to. You can increase the range by 100%, I believe, as well. So you can increase the ranges of all of these, which is nice. And you can also make them all go onto one target. Like the fork automatically does go one target, but the MLRA does not. So I like I like to think of the MLRA as a rocket launcher or a missile launcher that is good at stunning enemies. Like for example, if you need to stun a lot of spiders, you can use that thing for that. You can use it, of course, to stun a lot of wasps or drones. So pretty useful in that respect. It does kind of have issues though with hitting yourself with this thing for some reason. The missiles for the MLRA TF, at least, not the lower one, but the higher level version, will actually shoot them pretty low, which is kind of strange. So you have to be a little careful when you shoot this thing, but get a little bit closer here. This thing does have a closer range, but like I said, it's still not bad, the range on it. But you can get a max of 42 lock-ons, which is absolutely crazy. And as you can see, it's not terrible as far as how the missiles launch, but you do have to be careful when you're walking up like different gradings of the ground that's higher or something. You might get hit. And then of course the fork is just one rocket that's locks onto one target. So pretty good at stunning, like I said, cosmonauts, colonists. It's decent damage for the level. Unfortunately, there isn't a higher level version than this one right here, but still pretty decent damage. So nothing too new about it. Just like I said, increase the number of missiles and the damage. I think makes these missiles worthwhile in the game now. I personally been finding use for them, so I'm happy about that. Let's see. Okay, because this thing does 260 times 30, so that would be what, 6,000 and then 3,600. So it'd be 9,600 damage total. That's right, isn't it? 2 times 3 is 6, and then 6 times 6 is 36. So yeah, another 300 or 3,600. So yeah, it's roughly close to 9,000. So good, decent damage. And this one you can have all your rockets onto one target. So you have 42 of them, and then you have 400 damage per. So that's what, 16,000. You can put over 16,000 on one target. So pretty cool, pretty fun, definitely. Here's another prominence. So once I said, even the lower level prominence is great. As you can see, 1 second reload and 2.9 second lock on, which you can increase. Another emerald, lower level. Another MLRA is lower level. And then there's a tortoise. Unfortunately, there isn't a high level tortoise, but there is a tortoise here. So it didn't get quite as much love though. As you can see, it's got a 10-second. I believe the 10-second is read. Let me check this out really quick to make sure. The tortoise is level 43, and yeah, reload time is 10 seconds. So you can't increase that, unfortunately. You can't increase the reload time, but you can increase the lock-on time. So I'm not sure why they didn't give the tortoise more love, but yeah, I think that's the only missile launcher to cover left here. There's some lower level tortoises, which are like, this one's fine. Like this one is only 1.1 second reload time. It actually gets increased in that. So I'm not sure why they made the level 43 so high on reload time, but anyway, let's take one of the grenades now. The DNG has made it back, so let me take that as my second weapon here. Let's do a different mission now this time. Let's do underground because it's fun. Alright. So the tortoise, of course, is always the, I don't know if you call it a joke weapon, but I mean, the lower level version isn't bad. Like I said, if you can launch these things in 1 second, it's not bad, but the problem is this thing takes a 10-second reload, at least the higher level version, so it just fires, it almost hits the ground, and then it's just a slow moving missile that goes towards the target. And it is very slow, unfortunately, but it can be kind of fun sometimes just to mess around with. Look at how slow that goes there. But when it hits, it's a pretty big blast. And then the DNG is one huge grenade that you have to charge up, unfortunately, to throw. But it's got a huge blast and high damage. You can no longer cancel the animation. Let me go ahead and restart one more time. you can no longer cancel the animation of the DNG as well. Before you could, when you're throwing it, you could change weapons after you throw it to cancel that final 1/1000, 2/1000, 3/1000 second before you can recover. You can no longer do that, unfortunately, even though with the stringer you can cancel that animation, so I'm not sure why they took that one off of this one, but yeah, this DNG is decent. The damage doesn't quite make it for Inferno, but on hardest it still can be used. But as you can see, it's a huge blast. A little bit hard to aim sometimes, and like I said, if you're starting to throw it and something gets in your way, you kind of have to just quickly turn around and hopefully aim a different direction, not kill yourself. But I was kind of hoping for a little higher damage on the DNG, honestly, because 6,000, I think the best is 7,000. Let me check here. The best is 7,200 damage, which isn't that great, honestly. And on Inferno, the blast meter is 42 meters, though, but that's crazy. But yeah. It charges fast, at least, so you can throw it pretty far relatively quickly, and it's quickly charged. But and then there's also these other grenades where they take time to detonate. So this one takes 10 seconds to detonate here, and it's got a lot of damage. 8,100 damage, and a 24-meter blast is the max. Here's another DNG, and then here's just a normal grenade that you can throw. No, this is a 10-second as well. The J has a timer on it, so this is another 10-second grenade, but it doesn't take a long time to charge up here. Let's go ahead and throw these really quick. I have been liking the timed grenades a little bit more, as I've learned that you can, at least the 4-second ones, you can shoot at your feet and roll backwards and use them as a way to just roll away as you're attack as you're rolling away from a big group of enemies. So this grenade has a 10-second grenade, 10-second thing, and it bounces. But it's a huge blast, and you can just spam these things. I mean, there's so many of them. There's so many. The negative of these bouncing ones is that they may be in the air, they may not be where you want them to be after they go off. But yeah, you can just keep spamming these things. You just throw at your feet too, and they'll just bounce away. So I mean, maybe you could see some uses for them if you're careful with them. And then this one as well has a detonation time. You don't have the charge up at least. So, like I said, I think the 4-second ones are more viable than the 10-second detonation ones. But I don't know. I guess, I mean, considering the damage, they're pretty good. As far as this one has a lot of damage. It's just unfortunately the 10-second, and this one's also 10. Here's just a standard grenade that explodes on impact. They still have those. So the MG20. See, the thing is, they don't have like a higher level version of that for some reason. Like they have like the DNGs for the higher levels, and then they have the bouncing and detonation grenades. But the first one that doesn't do that is the MG20, which is all the way down at level 27. I mean, it still has decent damage, 2,368 damage, and 15-meter blast. But I'm not sure why they didn't make lower level versions. That was something that was a big deal in the previous game, where you would see a lot of weapons that were decent for mid-level fighting, for like on hard difficulty, but you wondered why they didn't make an Inferno version, because it'd be pretty fun or pretty cool. The first thing that comes to mind is the Wing Diver's laser chainsaw. I mean, that thing was so cool. It was my favorite weapon, but it was only good on hard, or maybe hardest on some missions. But this is just your standard, grenade. Explodes on impact. But it's pretty decent damage for the level, at least. I mean, you could probably consider taking it into hardest, maybe. And hard, it would probably be usable. And here's the grenade where it has a 4-second, so you can, you could throw it and roll, and it'll blow up as you're rolling away. But not sure how valuable it would be with. Let's sit on that one, yeah. I'm not sure how valuable it'd be, depending on the higher difficulties, though. So, not too much changes in the grenades. If anything, just a nerf, because like I said, the DNG, you can't cancel the animation anymore, but a little bit disappointing grenades. I could see maybe using this one a little bit, level 52, plus it's a low level for the high damage, but very niche thing. Now onto the grenade launchers. The UMAX has made it back, and it is better. As you can see, it has, let's see exactly the max here. The max is 5, and the max damage is, looks like 2,500. So it has 5 shots, 2,500 damage, decent blast radius, and a 4-second reload. Not too bad. I never really used grenade launchers too much, but I'm not saying that they're bad. I just personally never have used them too much. And then here's a grenade launcher that shoots fire grenades, so those have made it back. This one shoots 4 of them, and it does decent damage, 2,000 damage. Let's see if that's the max. 2,264 damage maxed, and decent reload time. So I have liked using the fire grenades quite a bit. They're good for crowd control, of course. They're good for stunning enemies. They're just fun as well. But the UMAX is pretty good, pretty fast shooting damage per second, and nice blast size. So, like I said, I personally never used grenade launchers much, but I'm not saying that they're bad by any means. And then here's the fire grenade. Still, these have made it back. Same idea as before, just good crowd control and good for underground too. Just to say you want to cover up, close up a hole, you know, a tunnel that you're in. You want to, if there's a bunch of ghouls coming after you or something, you could use this to stun enemies. So, pretty cool. Actually, you know what? Let's at least use it on the enemy here. And if you haven't seen my previous video about fire weapons, when you shoot the fire on the enemy, it doesn't necessarily mean all that damage is going to go onto that enemy. It's the actual fire itself, the actual area of the fire that it. So you're not getting the guaranteed damage when you stick an enemy with this. All the fire has to be touching them for it to do that damage. But usually it's made for crowd control and stunning anyway. So. And then of course the UMAX. Alright, let's see what else there is. Not too much changes in the grenades, honestly, from the previous game. Let's see, there's still the Stampede. This does 31,000 damage, 6 second. I was hoping they would have lowered the reload time on the Stampede, but it's still a little bit too much, I think. I feel like it's not the greatest damage. 30,000, I mean, the Wing Diver has stuff that makes that look like a joke. But 6 seconds, I think, is a little bit too long. I mean, it's still useful. It definitely is useful in certain missions when you need to just carpet bomb an area, but a little disappointed on that. This is the, what is it called? The Flame Geyser, as well, has made it back. So, 2 shots, decent damage, and unfortunately it's a wrong reload, but the fire lasts a long time. So let's go ahead and shoot this. Same idea though, if you stick a target, it's not gonna necessarily hurt the target for that damage. It's the fire itself that shoots from that base of the fire that does the damage. So a little bit unfortunate on that. But you know, you can use this in tunnels to block off entrances, underground, or usually it's primarily mainly used for underground, or you can use it for wasps as well. If you're in a good position between buildings, you can just shoot this on the ground. It'll hit wasps and flying frogs pretty well. So that's pretty cool. And of course, then the Stampede, which is always fun, or it's just a carpet bomb. Like I said, wish the reload time was better, but it's still definitely useful. I definitely use this in certain missions because you know you are obviously getting 30 grenades, but they each have a blast radius, so you're doing more than 1,000 damage per enemy because multiple grenades are hitting the single enemy as well. So it's still a useful weapon, very strong for very high burst damage. So pretty cool. But yeah, those two have made it back. Not too much has changed with those, unfortunately. On to the next set. Another UMAX here. Same with no detonation timer. Here's a sticky grenade. This thing is actually pretty decent for kind of like with the grenade strategy. Let's see what the max damage is of this. 61. It's 5,662 damage, and it does 22 meter blast. But this one you actually can use as that tactic I was talking about with the throwing grenades, where you can just shoot at your feet and then roll backwards and use it kind of like a decent damage as you're rolling backwards from a crowd of enemies. So unfortunately, they don't have a hand grenade, but you can use this thing to do it. Not sure why it has 25,000 barrels, but only shoots one at a time. But that's okay. Look at the size of that thing, though, too. That's crazy. And we'll take one of those, and what else? And then the big fireballs made it back, which is, I use this a lot. Very good weapon. I mean, obviously very specific to certain missions or certain strategies, but one big fireball, and it reloads before the fire runs out by, I think, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, so you have time to shoot another one. But very large blast, and pretty useful. Like I said, it's great on wasps and flying frogs. You can shoot the top of a building and they'll fly into that. Great underground, of course, to block entrances. But it's just pretty much one big fireball. And decent damage too, so yeah, if you're blocking off a large number of enemies that come into that fire, you're gonna kill quite a few. I mean, 20,000 damage is enough to kill quite a few enemies, so definitely a useful weapon. I'm not sure what kind of changes they could have made to it, but I'm happy it made it back for sure. And then here's a big grenade. You can. This is where you can. Unfortunately, it has a little bit of a kickback here though, but you can reload it and roll backwards as you're running away from the enemies. It's unfortunate, like I said. Let me restart. It's unfortunate that there is a kickback on it, but it might be able to find some uses. Let's see what we can do here. Oh wow, it actually went over his head. I thought it would have shot a little bit of an arc. And like I said, the fire, how it works is, it will, oh, wrong one. I don't know what I was trying to do there. Unfortunately, the fire will not, like if you stick a target, you're not going to get 20,000 damage necessarily on that target. It's based on how much of that fire is touching the target, so yeah. I tested out another video about how the fire works, but yeah. Those two weapons, those two have made it back. See what else there is, or if that's it. And there's the twin barrel grenade launchers, which can be pretty good. 3-second reload, very fast reload for that damage. So that's pretty good damage. Maxed out, looks like it's 1,245 damage times 2, and 3-second reload. That's very good for that level. So those could be good, useful. Another stampede here, lower level stampede. Another lower level fireball. These are the time detonation grenades where they shoot a whole bunch of them. Now the barrel makes sense for that one because it's shooting 20 of them. But this can be useful as well to do the shoot and roll back strategy as well. This is a 3-barrel brute, so just one extra shot. And there's another 3-barrel brute. This one has a 4-second timer though. Mainly it's all about the timers on these other ones. 10-second timer, 4-second timer. I mean, they can be decent damage. Let's take the brute, and let's take this other one here, the 20 shots. And I think that's pretty much all the grenades for the most part. Just a few different, like there's an extra brute that has in their 3rd shot, but really don't need to show that. But yeah, pretty good damage. This is definitely a decent weapon. And then of course this thing that shoots a whole bunch. Unfortunately, there is a kickback for that as well. And you can't swap weapons. Well, actually, you can swap weapons to cancel the animation on this one. So you could always do the shoot the weapon, double tap your change weapons, and then roll, and then keep doing that. So that could be a decent weapon for if you're rolling back with the. Although I think a shotgun might outclass that regardless because it shoots your enemies now. But let me test really quick on that one grenade, that one single grenade. I'm pretty sure you couldn't cancel. You couldn't cancel the animation on that. I thought I tried that, so because that would be useful on that particular one. Okay, you can. Okay, nice. So yeah, that's good to know. So if you are doing that rollback strategy, especially on this particular weapon, I could see this being more useful than the shotgun in certain circumstances, where you can, it's one large shot. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? One large shot, and then you can roll backwards and keep doing that as enemies charge after you. And then you hit it into the wall and you die. Oh my goodness, okay, yeah. I find myself rarely taking these grenades, but like I said, I could see them in certain circumstances, maybe. I don't know why I've never been a grenade launcher person. Except the fire grenades. I love the fire grenades, but so yeah, overall I would say I'm very happy with the missile launcher changes and a little bit disappointed with the grenade changes, but hey, as long as they have the stampede and the fire grenades, I'm happy. So I hope they do a little bit more experimentation with the fire grenades in the future, so we'll see. Once again, thanks for watching. Next time I'm going to be covering all the special weapons, the changes they've made to those, and then of course all the items for Ranger. Then I'll move on to the next class. So once again, thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the next video.